you doing today? Good? Oh, why this one is dark? Okay. We are in week 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 more weeks. It's a summer break. Yeah, time passes by quite fast. Yeah, are you ready for the summer break yet? No? Yeah, I also wish the summer break can come soon then. Yeah, okay. And because I was thinking about if we could maybe in a week before our final exam, we can have a class outside classroom. Yeah. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. Before sometimes I arrange the class in the Lakeside Cafe. Have you been to the Lakeside Cafe? Yeah, next to the lake, the second floor. Yeah, there's the Lakeside Cafe. Yep. So yeah, it's especially with a smaller class. I think it's good. Maybe in our week 15. Yeah, then we can have a class there. And also for the last case presentation, yeah, we can also do that there. We generally we make the hard copies for the presentation groups, PowerPoint slides. Yeah, so then, yeah, I think it's a little bit different then. Yeah, otherwise to always stay in the classroom is also a little bit bored then. Yeah, okay. So maybe you check from the Lakeside Cafe, yeah, and also check if they could provide us the bubble milk tea then. Yeah, because the Lakeside Cafe last semester, I also brought some students over there, and because they changed generally our university outsources to some other supplier then, yeah. But then before there are different owners, and then they can offer the bubble milk tea, yeah, every time. But then last semester, I don't know why, then they told me that they no longer supply for this bubble milk tea, yeah. But it's so strange. They just have this black tea, green tea, something like that, and it's also a little bit boring, yeah. You do not have that many choices, but as a cafe, it's quite strange. Yeah, so then, yeah, I call them on the phone and then I complain to them, yeah. Then all of a sudden, they can provide bubble milk tea then. Yeah, that's a business. You always sometimes you cannot really, if you're too polite to them, then well, they will say no to this, no to that. Yeah, but then if you negotiate with them a little bit, yeah, then because since they are the shop inside the campus, and then for the bubble milk tea, then I told them what's the problem, because they don't for the bubble milk tea. The issue is the bubble, and then actually the bubble, actually they don't cook for it by themselves. They also got the supplier, they also bought it, yeah. So then they got it from their supplier, they just put it into the milk tea. So what's the problem, I really don't understand, for a business, so-called business, and then they, push away for the customers. Yeah, it's really strange, yeah. So, yeah, hopefully. Do you like bubble milk tea? Yeah? Yeah. Actually, for me, I also like it. It's also one of our favorite drink here. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, probably like week 15. So, Lee, could you check if they say no, then you let me know. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right, so, yeah, we'll arrange for that and then let you know then. Yeah, because I think, this semester is, our class runs quite well. Yeah, and your performance is also quite well. Sometimes I also, like try to award you a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so then, oh, it's really fast. We already finished all these three parts, right? Today, yeah, we move on to our topic 10, okay, which is the issue related to compensation and total rewards, okay. After this performance evaluation, and last week we talked about managing career and retention, okay, and how do you keep your talented employee to stay? Of course, what is also quite important? Money, right? The pay, the salary, compensation. Okay, the salary is also part of the compensation. So then, yeah, does your company, provide you good compensation? If you know about like kind of in the industry, there are some other companies, well, they provide, kind of the same job position, but then better compensation then. Well, and then your performance is also quite good. Yeah. Do you think about, quit the current job, and go for your competitor's company? Of course, right? So then, of course, it will be quite critical to keep your talented employee. So for a firm, how do they establish a more strategic pay plan? Okay, that is one of the important issues. Okay, so in our chapter 11. Okay, so here in our HR management, we already move on to the compensation, this main theme, right? It covers for the strategic pay plan, financial incentive, as well as benefit and service provided in the organization. Okay. Okay, so here is a scenario. Okay, it's been provided in our textbook. Okay, in the grocery business, okay, when the Walmart opens a store, then the nearby stores, usual reaction is to cut costs, okay, because for the retailing industry, yeah, for most of the retailing industry, they try to cut the costs, particularly wages and benefits. So then, because of the big competitor, okay, of Walmart, Wegman Food Market, they add more stores and also increasingly compete with Walmart. So it indicates that in this retailing industry, okay, it's in the United States, okay, this Wegman Food Market, it's a big competitors, for Walmart. So its management needs to decide this, okay, should we cut pay to better compete based on cost, or we pursue a different compensation strategy? Okay, because as you know, like Walmart, they're, one of their, the most important strategy for them to use is cost down, cost leadership, or differentiation. Cost leadership. Yeah, so then of course they care about the cost a lot. Yeah, but then, under this kind of circumstances, should they cut down the cost or provide a little bit better or different compensation strategy? If you are the managerial level, which strategy would you use? Cut down the costs or provide different compensation strategy? Patrick, what do you think? If you are this CEO, what would you do?
I think we will just use the different compensation strategy.
Why?
Because if we cut down the benefits from the employee, it will reduce their motivation. But if we have like the different compensation and strategy, maybe we make some target for them, and then they will be motivated and do more.
Exactly. It brings the employee better motivation. All right. instead of kind of you cut down the cost, because if you cut down the cost, for example, you reduce for those, for example, benefit or service from the employee. Well, employee, they might, yeah, as I mentioned, they might go for your competitor's company. All right, they no longer want to stay, or to bring any contribution for your company then. All right, so then it will be a big loss. All right. Okay, so here the first question, yeah, I would also like to ask you, and then you can also ask for yourself. When you apply for a job, how do you evaluate the pay range or the pay rate? Is acceptable or not? Yeah, I'm sure like for most of you here, yeah, you have had some job experience. So before, when you had the job experience, how do you evaluate this pay rate? Okay, it's acceptable. Okay, yeah.
From my experience, when I was applying for the job, I check if the pay is above the minimum wage, and then also it's depend on the complexity of the job.
But how did you define it as a kind of what you mentioned about minimum wage? You mean like countrywide?
Yeah, because in Indonesia, like each region, they have like their own minimum wage.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay. So you mean the government,
Yeah,
local
the
government, they provide this data?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
so
Okay.
I know about the minimum wage, and when I applied, and they tell me about the salary, the salary that they give me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I compare it with the minimum wage, and then I compare what the job, the complexity of the job, like how hard the job is, and how, yeah.
Okay. And then is this offer acceptable, reasonable or not? Okay. So you use the indicator from the local government then, all right? Others? Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Is my day I will find some other company in the same industry, so they also offer the similar work. So I check the pay rate in other company to compare this company is above or below the other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, this is also good. Yeah, you check from the, kind of we call it as a benchmark from the market. Okay. The industry average from the market, you check for the, what will be the average salary, from this similar job position from the market and then from the industry, all right? So then you compare a little bit, yeah. That is also one of the strategy, okay? Both are good, all right? So that is the issue that we will address for today, okay? The salary is just part of it, part of the so-called compensation. All right. When we talk about the employees' compensation, well, of course, first of all, that comes across your mind will be the salary. Okay. Okay. So it's we can divide it into two different type of payment. One is which kind of financial payment. Another one is which kind of financial payment. Okay. Yeah, Patrick, the first one.
Direct and indirect.
Direct and indirect. The first one is direct. And then for the direct financial payment, okay, it has a time-based pay. Okay, it's related to your tenure. What does it mean by your tenure?
How long you have worked for the company?
How long? The more senior, then the more payment that you will get. All right, that is a so-called time-based, tenure-based pay. Another one is the performance-based. Okay, it doesn't matter how long have you worked in the company. Well, it depends on your payment then. All right, so then for the direct financial payment, okay, as we mentioned earlier, it includes such as wage, incentive, commission, and bonus related to money. Okay, financial payment then. All right, and then the second one, okay, indirect. Indirect financial payment, such as, can someone tell me? Yeah, Amy? Vacations or like insurance, okay? Because in some country they do not have like kind of so-called national insurance, right? So then, well, sometimes the company will cover you for the, the healthcare insurance. Then, of course, that is kind of part of the benefit then, right? It's indirect financial payments, such as employer-paid insurance as well as vacations paid. Yeah. So then these are the employees' compensation. So then in the future, if you want to go for a job interview, then you want to check about their, the company's offer. One would be, sometimes for some company, probably their direct payment, for example, the salary, will be a little bit lower than the industry average. However, this part, the indirect financial payment, will be better than the industry average. So then you can combine these two together. Okay, then you take into consideration to evaluate them, right? So here the first sub-issue we'd like to address for would be there some basic factors in determining the pay rates, because sometimes you must be wondering about, like if you have the job experience, you might wondering about within the companies, the same company. Then after a while, you might meet some more colleagues. You might know some more friends, okay, from the company. But then, well, even though to talk about to check with the salary is forbidden, but somehow everybody knows everybody's salary, right? So then you must be wondering about, like, why you feel like, this guy, he's not really competent, but then how come, his or her salary, is better than mine? Yeah? Did you have this kind of question in your head before? Yeah? And then, how do you convince yourself? Or, yeah? How did you get the answer later? Yeah? Please come. Or just let it be. Because that's a bad luck then. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel jealous with someone who get a higher salary compared to us, because we know that his competence is not that good enough.
Yeah.
We might go to the manager or and then
Go to the manager.
and go to the manager, for example, and tell maybe you can consider more what he's competent, then you can consider for his payment.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, how did you deal with that? If you know there's, in your company, and then there's someone else, the salary is better than yours. You might have the same qualification, similar education background, sort of, yeah. But then, well, why his or her salary is better than yours? Yeah. Or, well, you just admit it. So that's why you are here. You quit the job. Yeah. I quit. Yeah. Is that?
Absolutely, I'm not gonna quit the job, and I think I can prove that I can do more than him.
Mm-hmm.
The way, I don't know exactly how the way is.
You don't really know the reason why.
Yeah.
The other persons, the other colleagues.
I'm not gonna judge that person. That why do you have higher salary than me? I'm not gonna punch him.
Of course, yeah, of course not. Yeah, but then inside your mind, you must be a little bit struggling, right? Yeah, and today I'm going to tell you that there are some factors that determine the pay rates, okay, for different job positions, okay? And if you mention about, well, since me and the other colleagues, we are in the similar job positions, but then, well, there's this colleague of mine, his salary or her salary is better than mine. Why? Well, later I will tell you about it. All right, so here there are some basic factors in determining the pay rates. For a company, okay, generally this so-called total reward strategy is very important. Actually, the concept is related to earlier we mentioned about this compensation. Okay, it includes the direct payment as well as indirect. So for a company, if you want to attract more talented employees, you have to take this total reward strategy into consideration. All right? Not just by using this high pay, but then in the benefit side, indirect payment, is really, it's not that competitive then. All right, so it's in any case creating what kind of package? Yeah, Melly? Yeah, it's a compensation package, right? As we mentioned, the concept. Yeah, create a compensation package as a total reward strategy. So then it has to include like salary, right, incentive, as well as the benefits provided, right? Because nowadays there are some company, they even have the gym, right? And they also provide, like, for example, free afternoon tea, snacks. For example, as I know, like Google or Facebook, all these high-tech company, and there are some other high-tech company that provide very good benefits for their employee. Right? But do you know why the company they provide the gyms for the employee? Yeah?
Because I think in high-tech industry, the work is more pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah, so the employee will get stressed so easily, and then they provide this to
Let them relax a little bit. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. And
I've heard the reason that they don't need to go home or to the gym, so they don't actually need to leave the workplace. That means they don't need to spend time traveling and they have more time working.
yeah, that is also part of the reason. Good. Others? Others? Because if you exercise for more often, you're gonna have more you're gonna become more healthy, right? So if you're more healthy, then you can also contribute more. So are you gonna call for sick? Not really, right? Yeah. The chances for you to call for sick will be reduced. Yeah, so then of course the employee can produce more, productivity. Yeah, that is the main purpose. Right? So it's like we call it as a win-win strategy, okay, for the company as well as for the employee then. Right? And then another issue you have to take into consideration, for the factors in the pay rate should be equal. Equality pay rates, this one is very important, okay? As I mentioned, if you find out your colleagues, belong to the same department, why his or her, you have similar education background and then you're just a new graduate, for example. Yeah, but then, after a year, then his or her salary is better than yours. Why? You must feel like kind of a little bit wondering. Right? Equality. Yeah, you have to know about the reason. The company also has to have some procedure, okay, to convince the employee. Otherwise, it cannot motivate the employee. So then, this is the so-called equity theory of motivation. Because generally, for most employees, okay, for most people, they are strongly motivated to maintain a balance between what? Between their contributions that indicates how much effort they have contributed, as well as what do they get, their reward, all right, their output, all right. If they don't perceive these two as a balance, the motivation from the employee will be reduced and decrease, and then the employee will quit the job, all right. So later I will show you a video. It's quite interesting then. It related to the monkey. Maybe some of you here have seen that video. Yeah, but then let's complete this 4 different type of equity first. The very first one, what kind of equity? Indicates that compare a job's pay rate in the company A and company B. Innocent? External equity. All right. You compare, for example, earlier at the we talked about it. Yeah, when you're gonna go for the job interview, and then you check for the pay, the pay offer, provided by your company, this company. Yeah. So then, before that, you might check a little bit from the industry. Yeah, the other companies, what will be the pay rate provided by the industry? That is the external equity, right? And another equity In the case that different jobs pay rates in the same company. What does it mean by that? Yeah? Internal equity. It indicates within the same organization, right? But then you belong to the same or different department. This job position belong to the same or different department?
Different.
The same?
Different department.
It's just the same company, different department. It's a different jobs, right? Okay, more related to different department. We call it as internal equity. For example, in the future, you work for the marketing department, and then you know this friend of you from the engineer department, all right? Then, well, you would check, like, because you're different job positions, all right? That's internal equity. How about this one? Compare your coworker, then you have similar job. What kind of equity is that? Individual, okay, individual equity, right? You have to know how to differentiate with this different terminology, okay? Individual equity, it indicates that, you know, your coworker, your colleagues has the similar job position, all right? So that is individual equity, okay? So, well, the pay rate might based on the performance then. How about the last one? Okay, what kind of equity? Perceive fairness of the process of procedure by using the decision making. Procedure, all right? That indicates how does your company define each step's salary. You know, they should have at least a reward system and it's transparent, okay, the procedure. And how, you know, how does this employee, you know, got the salary raise and this one does not, all right? It has to follow this procedure equity. So these 4 different type of equity, please be aware of how to differentiate them. All right, so here is a short video. It's related to why equity pay rate equity is so important. It's a very interesting video about experiment has been conducted. Since it cannot show from here.
They know each other, we take them out of the group, put them in a test chamber. And there's a very simple task that they need to do. And if you give both of them cucumber for the task, the 2 monkeys side by side, they're perfectly willing to do this 25 times in a row. So cucumber, even though it's really only water in my opinion, but cucumber is perfectly fine for them. Now if you give the partner grapes, the food preferences of my pusher monkeys correspond exactly with the prices in the supermarket. And so, if you give them grapes, that's a far better food, then you create inequity between them. So that's the experiment we did. Recently, we videotaped it with new monkeys who never done the task, thinking that maybe they would have a stronger reaction, and that turned out to be right. The one on the left is the monkey who gets cucumber. The one on the right is the one who gets grapes. The one who gets cucumber, note that the first piece of cucumber is perfectly fine. The first piece he eats. Then she sees the other one getting grape, and you will see what happens. So she gives a rock to us, that's the task. and we give her a piece of cucumber and she eats it. The other one needs to give a rock to us, and that's what she does. And she gets a grape, and she eats it. The other one sees that. She gives a rock to us now, gets again cucumber.
She's a little bit angry. Why? Why I get the cucumber? Only. I want to have the grape.
She tests the rock now against the wall. She needs to give it to us. And she gets cucumber again.
You want to run outside and
So this is basically the Wall Street protest that you see here.
see? This is yeah, how important it is for the equality. Even though the 90 also get angry. Yeah, I like this video. It's really interesting. Yeah, all right. So yeah, that's the issue related to equality theory of motivation. Then, right. So as we mentioned about all this different type of equity earlier, we mentioned about external equity, right? Internal equity as well as individual equity. Yeah, try to think about by using what approach you can maintain this different type of equity, yeah, for your organization, yeah, by using what strategy, yeah, actually you've learned about all this before, yeah, don't make it complicated, yeah, okay, maybe I give you a little bit time, 3 minutes, yeah, if you are a little bit wondering, maybe you can discuss with your neighbors. Yeah, okay. You have a little bit brainstorming. Yeah. External equity. How does your organization, does your company can maintain the external equity? How does your company can maintain the internal equity as well as individual equity? All right, give you a little bit time. 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, you have a little bit brainstorming with your